What's going on, guys? EDC Guy here. I just had an amazing interview with Tieesha Essex. I want you guys to go check it out. Please go support her. Go to her channel on YouTube, Tieesha Essex, and then also follow me, like, subscribe at the EDC Guy 073, www.theedcguy.com, and also www.ericasbigday.com. All right, guys. So let's check out this great interview.
Good evening, everybody. I am here with the EDC guy. You can find him over on Instagram, the EDC guy. This is an amazing brother. He was introduced to me by our mutual friend, Brother Kevin, at Heavy Metal Life. You can find Brother Kevin over on Instagram. So thank you so much for this connection. And this is a great topic we're going to talk about tonight, and it's in the realm of firearms and our children and safety. So without further ado, I could sing his praises all night. I introduce you to the EDC guy. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where one can find you at?
Absolutely. What's up, everybody? I'm Ronald Scipio, the EDC guy. Um, I'm a firearms instructor, and I'm also the author of The Quick Guide to Everyday Carry for Self-Defense, and also recently published Erica's Big Day, a children's firearms safety book. Yeah, and it's just a passion of mine to be able to teach people and just teach simple everyday people about firearms and how to use firearms, not only adults but children as well. And I also have the EDC Guy Academy Kids that is going to be handling the children's portion of the firearm safety world. Um, uh, Kevin is also on that team. He's very instrumental in the development of Erica's Big Day, and we're just so excited to have him on the team and him bringing me the idea to actually do something like that right after I did my first book, The Quick Guide to Everyday Carry. You can find me everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I got my podcast. I have a whole line of things, and a lot of those things are just free content that you have access to, and also my website.
Beautiful. And I put the links for Erica's Big Day where you can purchase Erica's Big Day. And I just want to say hi to everyone that's here on YouTube. And I'm also live on Facebook as well. So I want to say hi to everybody that's over there. Make sure you go and subscribe, follow, friend, visit the website, take advantage of the resources. One thing that I can sing your praises on real quick before we get into Erica's Big Day, I just want to invite everyone who has a question about purchasing a firearm, anything firearms related. This is the man right here. like I said, this is the man. He has great, just quick instructional videos on Instagram that will teach you everything from, everything from concealed carry, basic firearms 101, safety. This is the
Right.
man. This is the man to go to. And so also, not only does he have Erica's Big Day, here is the quick guide to everyday carry for self-defense, okay? And as you see on the cover, they have on their heavy metal lifestyle. Shout out to Kevin again. Absolutely purchase these resources, okay? This is so much knowledge on here. I'm just like, when you meet one of your teachers, it's like, oh my gosh, you just kind of become a bubblehead. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But talking about Erica's Big Day, everyone has seen the picture I posted on Instagram where I read this book and I've introduced it to the parents around me, because now everyone's like, I want a firearm, into the firearms, but I have hesitation because I have children at home. So you started out with the quick guide for everyday carry for self-defense for adults, and then eventually you wrote Erica's Big Day. So can you tell me about, your transitions between the two books, and, how Erica's Big Day, what was your purpose behind it?
Okay, so the number one thing, I think the transitioning between the two books were pretty much the same, because writing the book as an instructor, you tend to get into the complicated words and the gear and everything like that. and I have to remember that I'm actually talking to adults who aren't
Hmm.
familiar with firearms. So so excuse me, sorry.
No problem. No problem. It's okay.
um So it was a very simple transition because kids even more so are simpler, so you have that visual
Hmm.
aspect, have the colorful aspect, the simple words and things like that. So
Hmm.
it was a very good transition to it. Um and the reason why it came about, I noticed that, and we noticed, me and Kevin, we noticed that there weren't anything like this on the
Hmm.
market. And I've been hearing after, premiering the book, man, I wish I had this when I was, younger, or I wish I had this when I had kids and
Hmm.
I could explain to them, and show them, have something to work with. And, I'm glad that we made the choice to do that.
Perfect. And I just want to drive home why Erica's Big Day is so important. If you haven't, click the link. I have your links also in the description. Click the link to purchase Erica's Big Day. I want to just read the back cover that you pretty much drove this point home. In a world where little children are getting hurt by unattended firearms, a little superhero is stepping up to the plate to save lives. See how Erica safely helps her friends avoid some pretty dangerous situations. Everyone can learn from Erica's bravery and wisdom. Learn how to be safe and avoid dangerous situations like Erica. And just to back that up, I found some statistics and gun violence facts that was presented online by the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and it was showing gun violence facts and statistics, gun violence facts in the home, and just some numbers. This was taken from 2016. There are more than at that time 393 million guns in circulation in the United States and approximately 120 guns for every 100 people. And I'm pretty sure those numbers have increased since 2016. And in 2015, almost 3,000 children from ages 0 to 19 years died by gunshot, and an additional almost 14,000 were injured. And an emergency department visit for non fatal assault injury places a youth at a 40% higher risk for subsequent firearm injury. And those people that died from accidental shooting were more than 3 times as likely to have had a firearm in their home than those in the control group. And among the children, the majority, 89% of unattended shooting deaths occur in the home. And most of these deaths occur when children are playing with a loaded gun in their parents' presence. Can you talk about that and how your work with Erica's Big Day is helping to, combat some of that?
Um, of course, and that's some great statistics, and we're from the philosophy, Kevin and I, we're from the philosophy that one is too many.
Hmm. Yep.
Okay, and it really impacts the urban community because we don't have that education.
Hmm.
It's the subject of firearms in the Black community is taboo.
Hmm.
Um, to say the least, and parents hide their firearms, and then also when we purchase our firearms, we don't follow up with that proper education behind
Hmm.
it. And one thing to note about Erica's Big Day, and a lot of people when they hear children's firearm safety book, they tend to gravitate towards the child having the firearm in their hand and
Hmm.
shooting the firearm, and that's not the case. What we're talking about is avoidance. The key terms: stop,
Hmm.
don't touch it, run,
Run over.
tell an adult.
No.
And that's the main idea. And in the firearms world, we have to crawl before we walk. So when we talk about kids between the ages of 3 and 12, as an example, uh, these are the rules that they should be following. And then when they get older, we can graduate into the other rules. But what we want to do in this book is build not fear, but a healthy respect for firearms, and to take away that curiosity and open up that conversation that parents should be having with their children, through 12, whether it's, no, or don't touch, or, things like that. And then further move on with that parent's experience about their child in mind when they're ready to have that great discussion.
That was absolutely so important because we noticed that the media and movies teach our children about firearms before we have a chance to teach them, and what they're going to mimic when they finally get a firearm in their hand is what they've seen in the media. And you're absolutely right, where the us Black people, we kind of have, not speaking as a whole, and I'm not labeling all of us, but in particular myself, I grew up in the city. So, we will know there was guns around us because, the 4th of July and New Year's, people outside shooting guns in the air, and we don't have that exposure. We know that if there's a gun in the home, we know it's in there. We were taught never to go into our parents' bedroom, but, children are curious, and, things that we grew up with, it's a whole different dynamic now because we have video games where children are playing these games way before they can comprehend that
Right.
that this is serious, this is deadly. But it kind of turns firearms into a joke. Like, okay, I'm going to do this, but then the next minute I'll buy a new life and come back and have a second chance. When it comes to firearms, there's no second chance. So can you tell us the importance of us educating our children the right way before we allow the media to do so?
It's very important, and a lot of what our children and what we learn, and a big portion of accidents that happen with firearm, is the lack of knowledge, and the and not being shown the proper way how to use those firearms, and stuff like that. So our kids are sucked into that as well.
Mhm.
They're being taught, if you put a plastic gun or a
Mhm.
rubber gun in front of a child, they're gonna grab that gun the right way, and their finger is gonna go on that trigger.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not something that you might have taught them, but it's something that they've picked up because of the cartoons,
Mhm.
video games, and things like that. It's just, sociology, society teaching us what to do with certain things and how we interact
Mhm.
with our environment. And so it's very, very important. You know, me as a firearms instructor, I had to teach my children about firearms because,
Mhm.
you know, I had my firearm, I kept it hidden for a while, but once they start to walk and explore and watch TV, and they start saying certain things. So at the time,
Mhm.
unfortunately, it was the Colorado movie theater shooting, and it
Right.
was just on, CNN, on Fox News constantly. So, my children, they felt a certain way about this bad guy who
Mhm.
was hurting good people. So
Right.
it's like, oh, I'll get my gun and I'm gonna go shoot him. And
Mhm.
whoa, I paused
Right.
the TV immediately, and that's when I kicked it into gear. I stopped. I showed them my firearm. I was like, "Do you know what this is? This is a firearm. We don't ever, ever touch it,
Mhm.
because, you know, you go bye-bye forever. No
Right.
second chances." And when they saw that, it was like, they was like really shocked. They didn't know Daddy had that firearm.
Mhm.
But then I gradually just started, just making them comfortable around it and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Again, I didn't have Erica's big day at the time. So, I had to figure it out, because at this point, this is probably, I think, the best manual, in my opinion,
Mhm.
that we have to help our children, because there's a curriculum in the back of the book
Yes.
to be able to engage your child and make sure that everything is sinking in the way you would like it to.
And speaking of getting into Erica's big day, I'm not going to reveal too much, but one of the important things that you have in here, and it's so brilliant, and you reiterate it over and over, on page 20, we have the scenario where the children are playing video games. And
Right.
I'm not going to give too many spoilers, but as Nealon stated here, kids playing video games with guns isn't the issue. It's them not being able to differentiate fiction from reality. Teaching them is the parents' responsibility, not society's. Absolutely. And here are the
Right.
cardinal rules that you put in here, and it's so simple. Like children pick up on simple things, and it stays repetitive in their mind, which is stop, don't touch, run away, tell an adult. And with with Erica's big day, and this is a great introduction to firearms, because some of us we with our firearms will teach our children, but my background is law enforcement, and my son was really little when we brought firearms into the home. So we kind of told him about his toy guns, but I believe I actually took away all of his toy guns and things like that, and I'm just like, we're gonna just introduce them in at the right time.
Right.
But can you tell me what age did you intend Erica's big day for, and when would be a good transition to then start, hands-on instruction and things like that with children?
Okay, then that's an excellent question because I get that question a lot. So the demographics for the book is 3
Mhm.
to 11 or 12.
Okay.
So when they start talking or making complete sentences, and
Hmm.
you see them making the little L
The
shape
finger gun,
and
yeah.
stuff like that, it's very important to start talking to them about firearms and letting them know, there's real firearms and then there's
Hmm.
fake firearms. And we need to stay away from the real firearms. That's something adults deal with and not children.
Hmm.
Um, so it's very, very, very important to engage your child. Do not hide the conversation.
Hmm.
Just you got to do it because
Yeah.
um the person who commented is our responsibility.
Hmm.
And you know our book isn't pro gun or anti gun. It's um a- anti attended firearms, you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Right.
Irresponsibility. So if you're not a gun household but your child goes out or goes to a relative's house or a friend
Hmm.
and they're pro gun, and somebody was happened to be careless with that firearm, they would still need to know what to do in the event they're confronted with that choice. We stop, don't touch it, run,
Or not
and tell
telling
an
an
adult.
adult. Hmm. Perfect, perfect. And not only teaching your children about firearms, it doesn't have to be for your own home, like you said. They can go to someone else's home that has a firearm and they're careless with it and it's unattended. And just those simple rules for the firearm safety rules you have for children. Stop, don't touch, run away, tell an adult, and that's the perfect thing to do because you never know what someone has done to their firearm. It could be, and at that age group, it's impossible to think like, oh, I taught my child how to identify a loaded weapon. No, 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 no. Best thing, we're gonna stop. We're gonna don't touch it. Run away and tell an adult. And that's something that you can just that the child can chant over and over. You wouldn't believe children when I used to go to my son's school for career day and volunteer some time. Children know more about guns than we do. They'll have a
Yeah.
rap song or something like that, or a
Mhm.
song, and they'll be talking
Yeah.
about this gun and that gun, and then they'll take it and go this way with it. I'm like, whoa, okay. So
Right.
they pick up and absorb. So it's good to let these little sponge minds absorb the right thing. Yes.
Right.
So yeah, just want to take a break and let everyone know that I'm here with the EDC guy, author, firearms instructor, firearms mastermind. You can find him at the EDC Guy on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere that I missed. The
Uh,
EDCguy.com.
right.
That's all
Every,
of it.
everywhere. And
And also,
podcasting and all that other stuff. iTunes,
there we
uh,
go.
iHeartRadio,
Hmm.
those places right there, SoundCloud.
Amazing. You can also find him at Erica's Big Day on Instagram and also ericasbigday.com. We're talking about his recent book, Erica's Big Day, which is a firearm safety curriculum book. Beautiful story about Erica, who is going to become our best friend. She is my best friend. She's a superhero. She has saved so many lives. And this is based on you teaching your children early on about firearm safety. Now, in order to teach our children about firearm safety, the adults must be well versed and learning about firearm safety and different things about weapons as well. Can you, I know we're talking about Erica's Big Day, but can you fill us in on your first book and some tips that parents can use as they're making that decision to purchase their first firearm with children in the home?
Okay, absolutely. So the number one thing that I recommend if you have children in the home and you're ready to buy a firearm, the number one thing is buy a safe.
Mhm.
That was the route that I went when I purchased my first firearm, was buy a safe. And I had children on the way. You know what I mean? I didn't know what would happen, but I was like, I need to get a safe first and then
Mhm.
get my firearm to have a safe place to place it. So after
Mhm.
you do that and you get your firearm, you definitely want to get um, a great instructor. All
Mhm.
right. And a lot of us instructors, great instructors like Ken Scott, Kevin Dixie, um, Gladiator 6, Gladiator
Mhm.
Games, Kevin, Heavy Metal Lifestyle 223, we understand and we want to relate to the general public. Um, it's an investment. You have to invest in that kind of training. When you invest in that kind of training, you're better off, and it's information that you can hand down from generation to generation to generation. And you could rest assured if you follow those instructions with the best of your ability and the way it's intended, you will be safe forever. You know what I mean? You won't have to worry about that accidental discharge. Overlap in those safety rules is what helps and saves us from those accidents. So that's the way I would go. I would definitely get a safe first, then you get your firearm, and then your instruction. And again, you want to invest in the training. um, you have a lot of people out there, a lot of companies that, 1999, the Groupon thing and stuff like that. I really don't recommend going that route, because it's borderline not teaching you what you need to know. It's just fulfilling what the state needs to get you to get your concealed carry. Definitely, again, you want to invest in that training, and you'll be glad you did, because if you go the other route, you're going to wind up coming to one of us anyway.
Absolutely. And speaking of the precautions, I know with our children, there's certain circumstances where we have to, there may be some things where we may not want to introduce, firearms and things like that if we observe certain things for our children, such as certain medications or, analyzing their maturity level. What are some things that a parent should look for in judging, their child's ability to process that information in a healthy way, and also, they'll be, I don't know how to put it, but how do you determine if your child is immature or if there's other things that you should consider before introducing firearms, things like that, to your children, or even owning one?
Definitely, children will show you and children will tell you, you know, if you're this two-way person, Second Amendment person, or pro-gun person, and you have your firearm and your child is like 9, 10, or 11, they'll tell you, Daddy, Mommy, I don't want to go to the range. So that's something that you can't force on them. Um, if you see that they say they're coming to you and they're saying, "Hey, Daddy, what's this that you put into the thing?" And you start talking, that means they're interested, and therefore you can like start introducing them gradually, and possibly, quite possibly, they feel about their child going to the range, or learning a little bit more about firearms. Every child is different, and my children, they told me now they're ready. Now they want to go hang out. I did take them to the range so they could see, when I do my classes. They'll be there. They'll be my little helpers. I'll give them an honorary EDC sticker, EDC guy sticker, and they're there and they're listening. So they'll tell you. And but the number one thing is, you don't want to hide that idea. Even if they're not ready to handle firearms, you still want to go the route of unattended firearms and let them know, hey, stop, don't touch, run, tell an adult.
That is wonderful. And can you also let us know? I know you said you have podcasts and videos as well. Off the top of your head, can you throw out some titles or some podcast titles that the viewers can follow up with to get some more
um,
information?
one of the main titles that, I want people to listen to is A Woman's Situational Awareness. This one, it goes through the process of predators. Everybody has their techniques, and there's certain techniques that these guys use to pick out their targets and their prey. Um, so if I had to choose one, it would be A Woman's Situational Awareness, and it's translatable into the guys as well. But
Mhm,
because victims are victims, you know what I mean.
mhm.
So definitely check that out.
Great, and that's one thing that is just wonderful. And I want to take a moment to just let everyone know that I'm here talking with the EDC guy, who is an author, firearms instructor, and we're talking about his latest book, Erica's Big Day, which is a safety manual on firearms for children. Erica is our new superhero, our best friend. I know she'll be your child's best friend, and she will empower them. One thing that wanted to also mention in the book as well is that in every situation that Erica was presented, the safety commandments were applicable, and it was just amazing. And this book and the story of Erica is so versatile, and I know that everyone that purchases it for their children is going to become their favorite book. And it's a very good read, and it's something that you can sit down and prepare and prep for a range day with your children before they go over someone's home. You can have your child in the car reading it to you or anything like that, and I'm sure that they will also tell their friends about it. So I know this is a great gift if you have children who have a birthday coming up, or for the holidays. This is definitely something to purchase, and it will definitely be an asset and payoff. And even also, once another child comes along, you just they keep passing Erica's story down, and she can be your
Absolutely.
best friend as well.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things we push as well. Like, you know, even if you're an uncle, a grandparent, or you don't have children, it
Mhm,
doesn't matter. Something like that, your friends may have children, something like that, just having it on your bookshelf is a force multiplier in curving and stopping these unattended firearm accidents from happening.
mhm. What are some situations with unattended firearms that you're familiar with? We always have those stories or something that kind of just stuck in our head, and it's like this was so unfortunate. What is some
Oh man.
situation that you know of? If you care to share, if it's not too, you know,
Yeah, I'll
emotion
definitely,
jerking.
I share these experiences in my firearm safety course just to inform parents. And that's another thing. The book isn't just for children, it's also for parents as well. Just to be aware, because us as adults, sometimes we make those mistakes and
Mhm.
we forget. And there's one in there that
Yes.
we've seen in the book, and Erica was there to be that, you left your
Mhm.
firearm here. I just wanted to remind you.
Right.
But we stop, and touch, run, tell an
Mhm.
adult. But one of the incidents was a coworker of mine. He was, at the gas station. His daughter was in the back seat of the car, in her car seat, and he was getting gas. His wife was in the passenger side, so he had wedged his firearm. I think he told me it was a Glock 26. He wedged the firearm in the side of the chair. So I guess at a rest stop, they unbuckled her and stuff like that so she can stretch and things. But she reached for that firearm, and she had the firearm pointed at her mom's position, and it could have been something fatal, or she could have turned it on herself accidentally. So luckily, in a calm voice, he told her, "Sweetie, no, 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 put that down." Okay. She followed his command. He picked it up, and, he stored it correctly. Um, another one would be, um, a mom. She was walking she had her grocery basket. She put her purse in the little child's part, like all women do. And, men will put their keys in that part, but that's that little storage thing. But she had her son there, her baby, um, had to be like 3 or 4 years old, and he reached into her purse and he shot her by accident. All right. So and or he could have shot himself, you know, by accident. So we can all be victims of this, not just children. So we need to be preaching that: stop, don't touch, run, tell an adult.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I know it's kind of, it just gets our emotions going, but these are things, these are real things that happen, and they're very ugly, and they are very preventable. If you want to go through the comments, and if you see any questions over there that you want to answer, and in the meantime, I'll just let everyone know that we're here talking with the EDC guy, author, firearms instructor, weapons mastermind extraordinaire, just honorable man with great works and contributions to the firearm community and ensuring that we have safe families with firearms. So we welcome any questions you may have. If you're someone who maybe own a firearm and you're really unsure about it because you don't have the proper training or familiarity with firearms, you also have children in the home, you can ask those questions. This is the time. If you are looking to purchase a firearm in the recent turn of events or world events, the the interest and people going out to purchase firearms has increased tremendously. So by the end of all this, we'll have a lot more firearms in the streets, in the homes, things like that. A lot more people are carrying. So, have any questions related to that? Definitely let us know. So let's take it away.
So just reading, we have Boulder Rockets, and he was mentioning that his child doesn't like firearms, but she likes um, crossbows. So the same thing. It's a gun. Anything that fires a projectile, a slingshot, that's considered a gun as well. We stop, don't touch, run, tell an adult, and those things have the potential to, seriously injure or kill someone. If not used in the correct manner. So he definitely, that book would still be a great thing. And again, you might not they might not like firearms, but just the idea of unattended firearms, it impacts a community. It impacts everybody.
Great, great question. Thank you so much, Boulder Rockets, for that. We really appreciate it. Can you tell us about any upcoming courses and events you have going on that the community needs to know about that they can benefit from?
One things that I am planning is an everyday carry seminar. So it's gonna help people who are on the fence about firearms or just recently purchased firearms to help point them in the right direction. Um, and it's going to be free. I just would like people to attend. I'll be doing it with a few local instructors like Kawaku James, possibly Riddick Firearms in West Palm Beach area, things like that. Just giving people a great resource, to turn to for their firearm needs. You don't have to be in your home like scratching your head, and we did all of that for you. We ironed out all the kinks and everything for you. I'm working with the USCCA, and we have a lot of great materials and everything. I mean, it's a phenomenal organization. I can't say enough about that organization and their support for Erica's Big Day. Tig from My Sister's Keeper Defense, very instrumental in that, and just like also spreading the word. So I'm so excited, and I'm just ready to just share this information and just help people, and we're all ready to do that. So I would say that would be the most major and recent event that I have planned. Courses will probably come maybe around the fall time, but unfortunately, we're all dealing with this COVID-19 pandemic, so a lot of the things are closed at this point. But just like we're talking here to you, um, we're offering virtual courses for you. If you have any concerns, like 30 minutes free consultation, I do it all the time anyway. I'm doing that for my friends constantly. But yeah, and then if there's dry firing, things like that, like I said, there's a lot of free content on my website to help you hone in on those skills, and also teach you to further how to be safe with your firearm when you're around your family, and to probably use that for your protection.
Wonderful. We have a question here from Hush Harbor. My fear is with my children going to their friend's home. I've always asked, do you have a gun in your home? Is it secured? That's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. And, my background as a police officer, I'm always, wondering what's going on in the place that I'm going to send my child. That's just what us parents do. We are concerned about the safety. And once we, turn them over to someone else, we want to ensure that's a responsible person that is going to take care of of our children, as much as we would care for their safety. And that's also a scenario covered in Erica's Big Day. So once again, make sure you head over to ericasbigday.com and purchase Erica's Big Day book for your children, so that you know that you've established, a baseline, and you've built on their knowledge and their safety about firearms, that once they're out of your presence, they're going to still exercise that. And that's exactly what Erica, our hero, does as well. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yes. So within the firearm safety rules for children, you have that you have run, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was strategically placed there, and I reached out to the Kids Safe Foundation, just to read over the book and stuff like that, and we included that in there, because we want to get the children out of that danger zone. We want all of them to run out of that danger zone, so that way they'll all be safe. We don't want to leave any child left behind in that area. You know what I'm saying? So that is a very, very important thing that that run is
Yeah.
emphasized there. And of course, that's a great thing. Like Rush Harbor said, you have to be present for your child's safety. And it's very important for you to know any environment that they're entering in that you might not be there. Is it safe for them? And to give that responsibility to those parents, those caregivers at that moment in time.
I mean, and to clear up, we just got a question from Neil and Runware Steps at Home. We in the book, when a child sees an unattended firearm, they're going to stop, don't touch it, run away, and tell an adult. Tell an adult. Okay, that's what they're going to do. They're going to run to the nearest adult to take over that scene with that firearm.
Right. So again, like Neelan, he asked the question, run where? You're running out of the area. You're running away from the firearm, and then you're running to an adult. And in that book, it shows you, it gives you ideas. And in the curriculum, it asks you who is a responsible adult. Okay. So we tried to cover all the bases, but that was a great question, Neelan.
Yes, absolutely. And with the curriculum right now, like I said, you're not just getting a storybook. You're getting a curriculum. You're getting so many tools in this book to empower your child to possibly save their lives, but also their friends and other people around. Like, this is one heck of a book. Erica is one heck of a superhero. And the beautiful part about it, she looks like us. When I was reading, I'm like, I want a daughter, and I want Erica to be my daughter.
Right.
She just rocks. She is a beautiful girl, and I just love her so much, and I just wanted to share her with everyone around me. So, one thing with right now, we're all home. We have nothing but time on our hands to take on our rightful role as our children's first teacher. So, can you explain how a parent or parents could use Erica's Big Day in the curriculum now and incorporate that in? Like, can you tell us like a typical, way to introduce these concepts in like a typical week or as a basic intro?
Absolutely. So it's something that you can incorporate into your story time. Um, it's a great story, and that's why it was written that way for anybody who reads to their children, or their children like to read, and you have reading time. That's a perfect time to introduce that book. And no time is better like this present time, because like you said, Tieesha, we're home, but then we have a lot of new gun owners out there that weren't previously a part of the Second Amendment community, but we're welcoming them with open arms. But we need to let them know that there's a right way and a wrong way, and this is a serious responsibility, and our children depend on us. So if you were one of those people to run out and buy a firearm during this COVID-19 situation, this pandemic, this would also be a great opportunity for you to read to your children about firearms and introduce that idea um, about firearms into your home. But ordinarily, if you have that story time, that family time, things like that, it'll be a great opportunity for you to start there.
Thank you so much for that. And do you also recommend parents really right now taking a second look at the media they expose their children to? I would say, different video games, stuff like that. What things can they do to, help make sure that what they're instilling in their children as far as firearm safety is not undone inadvertently by media or outside sources?
Okay, so in the book, I made it a point to address that issue of movies, video games, and cartoons not teaching us the right way to behave around firearms. Uh, and absolutely, I would always make it a point, if your child is watching television, and that comes up on TV to reiterate, hey, remember what Erica said, or this is how Erica would handle that situation. We know that this is not the proper way to behave around firearms. Even though there are ratings on our TV shows and stuff like that, some things do slip in. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we step in as parents and say, hey, this is not what we're going to do. Remember, stop, don't touch, or that, So that's what I would definitely recommend parents do, to reinforce and reiterate that and keep that solid foundation for their child.
Thank you so much for just driving that home. Like, that is just so important. Like, our children, they're our valuable resource, so we have to protect them. And you never want that change of events where something happens to your children and something that you could avoid. So can you let everybody know where they can find you, and what platforms you have, what information you have out there available again, and yeah, just good stuff like that, because this is amazing, and I just can't wait to share Erica even more with everyone.
Okay. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. I do vlogging and all that other fun stuff. And I go to the range day, you could see and train people. And then I also upkeep my training. I train with, Ken Scott, Kevin Dixie, things like that. Also on I'm on a podcast too, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and like we said before, a great episode would be a woman's situational awareness. Because if you don't have situational awareness in any of this stuff, your chances dramatically drop in survival and the safety of your children. Awareness is also key to our children's safety, and also your safety as well. And you can go to www.theedcguy.com or www.ericasbigday.com, and that's where you'll find me. And if you ever want to communicate, the best place to communicate would be Instagram, because I'm constantly on there and interacting with people, and also Facebook as well.
And speaking of Instagram and just sharing the good news of Erica's Big Day, the first three people from this video from my channel that go over and follow the EDC guy, I will pay and send you a copy of Erica's Big Day for free. So if you want to let me know who those three people are, send the EDC guy, once he contacts you, let you know that you were among that first three. You'll send him your address, and we will make that happen, because I'm just so happy that we have a product and a platform and just an appreciation for the work that you have done to keep our children safe, to empower our community, and also bring more of us into the Second Amendment community. It's great that we have so many people taking an interest. We're taking charge of our personal defense, home defense, the safety of our families, and things that we hold valuable. So do you have anything you want to close with, or anything like that?
No, I'm just grateful to thank you for inviting me on your platform. I'm a huge fan of you myself. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen. Also thank Kevin from Heavy Metal Lifestyle 223, and our firearm community, Kevin Dixie's, Ken Scott, Gladiator 6, TAC 45, Hoodneck. These guys are all instrumental in the encouragement to keep each and every one of us, that energy to keep moving forward and keep doing what we do. Because a lot of the times, this is something that comes out of our own finances, and we're just doing it because we love doing it. We're not doing it for profit and all that stuff. We just enjoy spreading that information and just helping everybody.
Absolutely. So I just want to say thank you so much for sharing Erica's Big Day, and I am so honored to have you here. I look forward to speaking about more great things in regards to safety, firearms, women's training. That's one thing is, you know, that's why I do what I do, because when I was getting my start in firearms, I couldn't find anyone that looked like me, talked like me, had my background or anything like that. It was like really foreign. So I'm like, I'm going to be that change. And that's definitely what you have, because you are that change and you're doing great things. So I just want to say thank you so much. If you have seen any other questions in the comments or, you know, anything like that.
No, I mean, your audience
Uh-huh.
has uh, been amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and so I thank you guys again for your great comments and, you know, insight and questions as well. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you guys so much.
Yes. Yes, continue to reach out, you know, comment on his videos, very thorough videos. I have to give you a compliment. I love your voice. Like, oh my gosh, I was just like listening to this IGTV, this video. I'm like, wow. So I didn't know you had podcasts. So yes, binging is in session. So even if you wanted to add to your curriculum, plan a podcast, you know, while you're doing other tasks, you will subconsciously pick that information up and retain it. So Solo Dolo, one of the moderators here, like, subscribe, share. Make sure you connect with the EDC guy on all of his platforms. This is how you stay abreast of what's going on in the two-way community and become familiar and start building those networks, like you said, on your Instagram page. Check out who he follows and who follows him, who he reshares. Follow them, you know, and that's how you'll continue and start connecting the dots and finding so many resources that we have out there that is, you know, put out there to empower you. Shout out again to Kevin from Heavy Metal Life. I just want to say thank you so much for him for this connection and also the great work that he's doing up in Detroit. So that is the end. You're always welcome back here, and I will do everything in my power to continue getting your platforms, Erica's Big Day, your work out there, and I'll be sending people to you. Like I
Thank you so
said,
much.
the first three who follow, he'll let you know. And there you go. You have Erica's Big Day to present to not only yourself, but your family as well. So I just want to tell everybody, thank you so much for watching. And we'll definitely see you again. Make sure if you like this, you want more of this, go ahead and follow, subscribe, visit his website, and check out the EDC guy. Any last words before we end the broadcast?
Again, just thank you, Tieesha. Thank you, everyone, and just look forward for more things coming from Erica's Big Day,
Mm-hmm.
um, a short animated series, and all that other stuff. So we're working on that, and trust me, it's coming.
Well, everybody have a good night, and I will see you on the next great video. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.